Do you ever wonder how your grandmother or your best friend knits or crochets so quickly? Well, I have the secret for you. And believe it or not, it's all in that non dominant hand. So, today I'm going to show you how to hold the yarn and your work in your non dominant hand so that you can knit and crochet faster than ever. I'm also going to show you a few exercises you can do to increase the strength in your non-dominant hand so that you can get to the point where you can knit faster or crochet faster. Let's get started. I've started teaching some beginning crocheters how to crochet, and I was blown away by their perseverance and dedication to trying to learn how to crochet. And there was a lot of frustration. The majority of the frustration, though, stemmed from their ability to hold the yarn and their work in the non dominant hand. So I developed a system to help them do that. And I'm going to show you that system today. Let's get started. So we have a slip knot on our hook right here, and we're ready to get started doing a few chains. My dominant hand, the hand that's going to be holding the hook, actually doesn't do a whole lot of work when I'm crocheting. It moves back and forth and twists the hook like this, like this. I want my grip on it to be really light and gentle. In contrast, my non-dominant hand is going to be providing some tension like this or like this, and it's going to be holding the work. So these fingers down here and my thumb and third and fourth fingers are going to be holding here. My first and second fingers are holding that tension. Let's watch a few chains like that. So how do I do that? Well, I like to teach my students start out making a scissors and a cut with your first two fingers. Now, this is going to be the beginnings of holding tension. It actually is not the strongest of tension holders, but it's enough to have control over the yarn and provide enough tension to get some nice stitches. You can also hold it like this, but it's the same concept where the tension is actually coming from where the yarn is between your fingers. So you really want to develop some strength in these two fingers to squeeze them together. You see, squeeze, squeeze. We don't want to hold this tension super tight, but we don't want it to be loosey-goosey either. So we do need a little bit of tension there. These fingers, on the other hand, our thumb and our third and fourth fingers, are going to be holding that work. And our thumb is always going to be pointing to the next place we're going to go. So for chaining, it's going to be pointing to the next place that I'm going to chain. And I can usually do about 2 to 3 chains before I feel like I need to move my thumb to the next one. Because if I get farther than that, I'm losing control because my thumb is helping me pull the hook through that loop. And so you can see it's more difficult there, but if I move it up, I have a lot of control over the tension and the work itself. So when I'm doing chaining, I like to hold my work vertical. And I always use my thumb and my third and fourth fingers to keep this chain from twisting. Because if we have a twisted chain, it makes it harder to put stitches where we need them to go for our next row. But when I'm doing a row, let's say a single crochet row, I'm going to turn my chain so that it's going horizontal. And I'm always starting from the right and going to the left. So I'm going to provide the tension. I'm going to do like that or like that. And my thumb and third and fourth fingers are holding my work. My thumb is always going to point to the next stitch that I'm going to work into. Let's say I'm going to work into this one right there. And then I'm going to move it up to provide that little window right there to pull my yarn and hook through. And so my thumb and the third and fourth fingers are actually doing a lot of work here. And so they need that squeezing motion, but also that dexterity to be able to hold your work. And that takes practice and strength building over time. I'm also using my thumb and third and fourth fingers to hold the work in the way that I want it to look to me. So keep it oriented to the right way. I don't want it to get twisted and then I'm like, okay, where do I go next? Or if I'm working this way, I could, but that makes it hard to put, where do I put my hook next? So my thumb is always holding that next stitch right there. And sometimes things kind of can get a little bit crazy. So after I'm finished with my stitch, my thumb is always going back and finding the next stitch I need to go into. And sometimes I put it back on that horizontal plane to put a stitch in. And you end up getting faster. So let me show you, this is real time. I'm not speeding up the video because my thumb and fingers on my non-dominant hand are working with me and not against me. I can actually go pretty quick. And once, I don't know, I don't know. Once I get to the next row, I can go even quicker. It's challenging to get that first row from your chain going. For me, it's always been challenging. But I can end up going faster when I start that next row. Chain one. All right, now watch me go. You can see how my hands are working together and nobody is really left behind. This is a two-handed project. Even though they say it's one hook, so it's less to manage, you really are working with both hands to get faster. Just keep an eye on my non-dominant hand for now. I know that watching the hook can be mesmerizing, but look at that non-dominant hand. You see how my fingers are actually curling to get that hook yarned over. And my thumb is always pointing to the next stitch. And here we go, we're all the way at the end. All right, so that is how you hold the yarn when you're crocheting. And when you hold it this way and you work these fingers and these fingers, if you work the entire hand like this, the transition from crochet with one hook to knitting with two needles is going to be much easier for you. So let's go there next. All right, I've casted on a few stitches on my knitting hook. And as you see, I'm actually going to hold the yarn the same way. I'm going to do that cutting motion or wrap it around my finger. Remember, the yarn is still in between my fingers, providing that tension. Now, these fingers right here, not only are they going to hold your needle, but they're actually going to do some even more important work. Instead of just pointing to the next stitch, they're going to be moving that next stitch into a place where you can work on it and moving your work down or up the needle to be worked on. So let's see how this happens. I stick the needle in. See, my fingers are helping to do the yarn over and pull through. And then my thumb is pushing that next stitch along. And so when your thumb does this work of pushing the next stitch to be ready to go, then you can end up getting really fast because your thumb and third and fourth fingers are helping to move the stitches along. This takes practice though. Don't expect it to come overnight because I've been knitting and crocheting for a long time and I've developed a lot of strength in this hand. So let me show you a few exercises you can do to develop the strength in your hand. Let's start by doing some stretches, right? When we're holding the yarn here, we're stretching those out. And when we're holding the yarn, holding our work here, we're kind of stretching those out. So let's just stretch out our entire hand by stretching it, making those long fingers, and then releasing. Stretch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and releasing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and releasing. And we can do that with our fingers too. Instead of moving our palm and our whole hand, we just do 1, 2, relax, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can do that. Just get our hands nice and stretched out, ready to go. We can wiggle our fingers. Right, and then there's a couple strength training exercises you can do. Let's start with these fingers right here. We want to start by forming this K or L kind of with your fingers, okay? So we want these fingers to be sticking straight out. And when they start to curl in and get closer and closer to your thumb, then your working yarn that's coming through, it gets challenging to manipulate your hook inside this area. So we want a lot of area to work. So we want them to stick out like that. And then our thumb and our third and fourth fingers are going to be squeezing together right here. So let's start with these. We have this. We're not going to do anything with this right here, but we're going to just focus on here. We're going to open up and squeeze together. Open up and squeeze together. You can repeat this 4 to 10 times. Just do this every day. And eventually you'll get stronger and have more control over that working yarn and its tension. Okay? And the next thing that you can do is you can just keep these straight out like that, and you can do a squeeze here. Open up, squeeze, open up, squeeze. You're also focusing on keeping these fingers so they don't sneak in, right? We're going to focus on keeping these out. Open up, squeeze, open up, squeeze. So we're improving our dexterity by doing the open up, and then squeezing, we're building some strength right there. Open up, squeeze, open up, squeeze. All right, now we can combine that all together, and we can open up, squeeze, open up, squeeze, open up, squeeze. And you're going to find that your fingers are going to be all over the place at first. This practice, this last exercise, is really working on that control. So we're opening up the fingers vertically, right? Like scissors. And we're opening these up almost horizontally, like that. Open up, squeeze, open up, squeeze. All right, today I've shown you how to hold your hand, your non-dominant hand, to hold that yarn to provide great tension and directionality where you're going in your crochet, and also moving those stitches along the line in your knitting. And you can see how I'm holding the yarn the same way when I crochet and knit. And so that helps me go back and forth between the two all the time. If you work on these exercises every day and you continue to practice crocheting and knitting, you're going to get faster and you're going to get better. It takes lots of practice and perseverance, because even I struggled at the beginning, but you can do it. So let's get started today and practice, practice, practice. If you found this video helpful and informative, please subscribe down below or leave me a comment. Let me know what you're working on to get faster at crocheting or knitting. Where are your struggles? I want to know. Thanks for watching.